Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Community Charging Rebates Program information session. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you here. We're just going to give 1 to 2 minutes for other folks to join, and then we'll get started. Hello, I see we have more folks coming in. We'll get started in just 1 minute, so get comfortable and we'll get started at 12:02.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today and for taking the time to be here. It's great to see everyone. My name is Jenna Compton. I'm the key contact for the Community Charging Rebates Program, and I work for the Oregon Department of Transportation. Joining me today is Alexandra from Fourth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra Everett. I'm a program manager at Fourth, and I am going to be answering questions today. So please put them in the chat, and we'll facilitate that discussion at the end. Thank you all for being here.
Perfect. Thank you, Alexandra. ODOT has partnered with Fourth to help with technical assistance and outreach for this program. So now we'll begin the presentation. So, the purpose of the Community Charging Rebate Program is to improve electric mobility charging access in communities across the state. We know that charging where we live, play, and do business is most convenient, and that is reflected in this program. We'll begin the presentation now. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will answer all the questions at the end of the presentation, and links will be provided as we proceed. The goal of today's webinar is to cover some of the basic eligibility information and to discuss the funding available and how it will be distributed. Fourth and ODOT are working together to provide high levels of technical support both before and during the application process. This is a soft launch of the program to help you understand the basics of how to prepare. Details are evolving, and the best way to stay informed is to check the website, sign up for newsletters, and join our May webinar dates. More helpful information is on the way, including a step-by-step guide of the application process. As we near the launch date in June of 2023, these sessions will become more detailed and help walk you through the application. Before we dive deeper, if there is anyone that cannot stay for the entire session, that's okay. We have a recording of the April 12th session, which is currently available on the program website. Electric vehicles are crucial to lowering our greenhouse gas emissions. With the increased demand of electric vehicles, charging infrastructure is essential. ODOT would like to use this rebate program to help benefit projects that are located in priority communities. This program is intended to fill the gaps in charging infrastructure throughout the state. Targeting priority communities is a key element of this program. The goal is to give these communities a head start for the next EV wave. EV drivers are often parked for long periods of time while they are charging. The program looks to place stations within multifamily housing complexes, business areas, and shopping districts, predominantly in places where people can stay to eat, explore, and shop for a long period of time. This program will work with level 1 and level 2 charging. As you can see on the left-hand side, level 1 charging will require a 120-volt outlet. You can find these outlets in most homes. This outlet is what is used to charge common home appliances like your microwave and laptop. On the right-hand side, we have a level 2 charger. Level 2 charging requires a 240-volt outlet. This outlet may look less familiar, but are commonly found in homes where high-powered appliances are used. You can usually find this outlet powering your drying machine. The program aims to help reduce the cost for the applicants and place EV chargers in strategic locations. Rebates equate to $4,250 to $5,500 per port, or up to 75% of eligible costs, whichever is less. Applicants can apply in two ways, either as a pre installation or post installation project. We will go over the rebates and the application flow in more details in the following slides. The program will launch in June and close once funds are fully reserved, or by mid August, whichever comes first. On this slide, we have added a pie chart to help visualize. The funds will be separated into two buckets. There is a total of $1,750,000 available for the first round. 30% or $525,000 will be available for non-priority communities, and 70% or $1,225,000 for priority communities. The rebates will be reserved on a first come first served basis in each category. Please note that a single entity cannot claim more than $150,000 in rebates per round. Here is an image of the priority type locator map that applicants can use now. If you have a specific location in mind, you can search the address. Once you open the map, and the map will generate an answer. The answer will state whether the site location is in a priority or non-priority community. If the location is in a priority community, the map will clarify whether the location is disadvantaged, rural, or both disadvantaged and rural. If you want to search a general location, you can click on the map on the website and zoom into the location. The legend or key will be on the right-hand side, so you can view which locations are rural, disadvantaged, or non-priority. Every location in the state of Oregon is categorized either as a priority or non-priority community. This tool will only differentiate which bucket of money the rebates will pull from. ODOT is using the statewide equity map to determine if areas are deemed as high or medium-high disparity, and the Oregon Office of Rural Health's urban, rural, and frontier areas map to determine if areas are urban or rural. Keep in mind, this information will be requested during the application process when you search your address. Here is the rebate breakdown in greater detail for eligible project costs. Beginning with the first row, Level 2 chargers that are considered publicly accessible parking will receive $4,250 per port, or up to 75% of eligible project costs. Multifamily housing Level 2 chargers will receive $5,500 per port, or up to 75% of eligible costs, and multifamily housing applicants can also receive a $750 rebate for the installation of a Level 1 charging port. We do recommend installing a Level 1 charging port in conjunction with a Level 2 charging port, since Level 1 charging can take longer. Also note, applicants must install a minimum of 2 ports, and there is a maximum of 8 ports per site location. Rebates are based on either a maximum dollar amount per port, as listed in the chart, or a percentage of eligible project costs, whichever is less. To apply for the program, eligible applicants must be a business, nonprofit organization, state, local entity, or tribal government entity. Businesses and nonprofits must be licensed to do business in Oregon with a valid Oregon business license. They must also be the site owner or authorized agent with a site verification form. The form will be requested for each applicant during the application process. We also offer some examples of ideal sites, including shopping centers, recreational areas, parks, restaurants, public libraries, schools, and there are many more. If you would like to see a more extensive list of the ideal site host location and the site verification form, both are on the Community Charging Rebate Program website now. The goal is to have places for the public to spend time visiting while their their cars are charging. The two eligible locations are publicly accessible parking sites and multifamily housing. We went over a few examples of ideal publicly accessible parking sites. Additional examples include tourist locations, retail stores, transit stations, and more. And for multifamily housing, some examples include apartment buildings, townhouses, condos, and more. Here is a list of eligible costs to begin considering: charging equipment, installation, labor and material costs, engineering design costs, electrical service upgrades, project signage, site lighting, ADA compliance, network agreement costs, and maintenance contracts. I'll leave this slide up for a bit longer so you can take a picture or jot down some notes on the eligible project costs. Okay. There are two ways to apply for the rebate. The first is with the pre-installation method, and the second is the post-installation method. We'll begin with the pre-installation application flow. To qualify for an incentive, applicants may apply prior to project installation and reserve funding. Here is the pre-installation application process. Again, we will go into greater detail on the application specifics in the meetings before the launch. That way, everyone can feel comfortable with the application process. The applicant gathers and submits all the necessary documentation. There is a list of required documents on our website that you can review. If there are any errors with the application, ODOT will send it back to the applicant with a note explaining what needs to be fixed. The applicant will have 10 days to make the necessary corrections and resubmit the application. Once any errors are corrected, ODOT will review the application again and reserve the funding. The applicant then has 270 days to complete the installation and submit the post-installation portion of the project. Once the post-installation portion of the application is submitted and reviewed, if everything is correct, the application is approved and the payment is dispersed. Now, this is the post-installation application process. To qualify for the incentive, applicants may apply for the rebate within 90 days of the installation date, as long as the installation was completed after the program's effective date in June of 2023. The guidelines define the term installation date as the date on which the charging station is affixed to its permanent location, connected to the electrical source, and ready for use. Again, the application goes through the review process. If there is an error, the applicant will receive a notification to fix the error. Once the applicant resubmits and everything is correct, the project is approved for payment. There are a lot of resources on the Community Charging Rebate website for applicants to read through, including the FAQ, site verification form, required documents checklist, EV Charging 101, and the Transportation Electrification website. We also recently posted the priority type locator map, the list of qualified chargers, and the guidelines in draft form. Remember, ODOT reserves the right to make changes to the guidelines before the program launch date, and a detailed list of the eligibility requirements. If you have any questions after the presentation, please contact us at the email listed on the slide. You can also visit the CCR website or get updates on Fourth and ODOT social media pages. Please begin submitting your questions in the chat now.
Thank you, Jenna. That was a great presentation and a great introduction to the program. Looks like we have no questions so far. I've been adding links to for folks to reference as you've been going through the presentation. If you have any questions, please take a few moments to write them down. I know sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to type them all up, so take your time. In the meantime, I wanted to let you know that um, we are constantly evolving these info sessions, and we really appreciate your feedback. So after we end this session, you will be redirected to a survey. It should take you only a minute or so, and we would really appreciate your feedback. Okay, I'm starting to see there's some questions coming in. Okay, there's a question from Alex. Is there a qualified products list? We do have a list of qualified chargers that is available on the ODOT website. I will also add it right now to the chat so you can reference that, and we will follow up with an email that also has all the links available. Okay, we have another question. If our application is finished this week, can we send them in now? The application is not ready yet and is not available to apply. It will launch about mid-June, but that date is to be determined. So the current answer is no, you will not be able to just yet.
And also, project costs must be incurred after the program launch date.
Thank you for adding that very important piece, Jenna. These are great questions. Keep typing up your questions. We have one more. Can EV charging service providers apply for rebate if they have a site agreement? That is a great question. I can refer to my notes. I believe that is the case. Let me confirm
The
that. Or
the
Jenna.
applicant has to be the individual incurring the project costs.
Okay. Thank you, Jenna, for clarifying that and correcting me. Keep those questions coming. Okay, we have quite a few. Okay, there's one. What is the total expected setup cost for putting in the EV charging station? Wow, that is a great and also very big question. This will vary significantly depending on your project site and the different parameters that you're facing. Some folks will have to go through and rip up the pavement, and that will add extra costs. Others can be very minimal. So it's hard to say an exact number. We're working on putting together a broad kind of cost document that will help you navigate that. Um, but as of right now, it's really hard. It really depends on your site. I will say that for multifamily housing, if you are one of those qualified folks, you can install level one chargers for a fairly low price because, as Jenna mentioned earlier, that is just a standard grounded plug outlet. So that is the most cost effective way to add charging is through level one. And I'm just looking back. We can follow up with you, Frank, as well, to get you more information for this question and then get some more details about the project you're considering and see how we can help you. Okay, thank you for putting in the questions. This is great. We have another one. Will B&Bs be added to the approved sites? This is a great question. We are accepting B&Bs on a case-by-case basis. Currently, as it's written in the guidelines, B&Bs are not eligible, but because we've seen so many requests come through, it's evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jenna, on that?
Yeah, Airbnbs are not eligible, but B&Bs will be taking on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. All right, we have a few more. Please keep them coming. This is great. We have a question. I live in a small co-housing community in Silverton, and we have 11 households here. Would such a community in this area qualify, even though we're not, quote, low income? This is a great question. I would encourage you to refer to the priority type locator map tool, and that will really give you a great understanding on what category or priority community you would fall into by putting in the address.
The
And
rebate is not income-based too, if that's helpful.
thank you, Jenna. And we have one more question that I'm seeing. If there's others, please put them in. There's a question, recommended chargers, both PG&E and Pacific Power require some chargers be hardwired. Is that true for the CCR program? I think, Jenna, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are going to be using PGE and PAC's list to qualify chargers, and then we also have a few requirements on our end in the guidelines. I would like to go over this question in greater detail, though, and so I can correspond with you over email to kind of get more of your project specifics.
Thank you, James. We will follow up with you offline after the presentation and get more information from your potential site and give you more details. Again, we have the draft guidelines available on the website, so there's a lot of information there that I encourage you to look through. We have another question from Anthony. What is the most chargers a hotel can put in a property? So the minimum amount of chargers is of ports is 2 and the maximum is 8. So the maximum you would be able to put in your hotel property is 8 ports.
Mhm. 8 ports can claim a rebate per site location.
We have another. Can lost that. Can nonprofits receive a portion of reserved rebate incentives upon approval via the pre-reservation pathway? Um, I'm not sure if I understand this question. Alex, if you don't mind, maybe typing up and elaborating on your question, or the other alternative is we can follow up with you after through email and get more information. Nonprofits do not have much money sitting around. So there are only ways forward. So you can reserve the funding and then use it to install your charging infrastructure. Ooh, now there's
The
a
f
lot of action in the chat.
the funding won't be dispersed until after the rebate has been approved, so the installation would have to be complete before the funding is dispersed.
Thank you, Jenna. Okay, Alex, does that answer the question? Okay, great. Thank you. And then I'm going back up on the chat. I think I missed a question. Okay, there's a question from Frank. We are on Highway 101 with a big parking lot and business. Would ODOT look into adding a turning lane into EV station if we were to add one? This really sounds like it would be outside the scope of this rebate program. So I, yeah, I would say that would be a no. Jen, is there anything you'd like to elaborate on for this question?
Yeah, I think that's beyond the scope of the program as well. If you would like to send in an email, though, we can try to direct you to somebody who can help you. And then I think we might have missed the question from Mike as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jenna, for catching that. Is the site owner allowed to bill for the electricity? Yes, you are allowed to put in a charging fee if need to. There's more information that you can see on that in the program guidelines. So I encourage everyone who's interested to reference that. It has great information. Okay. Did I miss any other questions? Okay. Oh, I see. Brandy has a question. How much funding is available to disadvantaged communities? So for the first phase, we have 70% of the total funding is available to priority communities. And Jenna, if you'd like to go back to that slide, that will be a total of $1.225 million. So 70%.
And
Okay.
then to answer Alex's question, so if they need a portion of the project rebates to get going, is that possible? Oh, that answers my question. Sorry, my apologies.
No worries. This is great. Thank you all for your questions. We have plenty of time, so if you have anything else, please add it to the chat. I think we got to everybody. So we'll give you all a few more minutes. I just want to once again reinforce how much your input is valuable to us, and it will really help us improve these sessions in the future, both next month, but also for future rounds as well. So please take a moment to answer the survey. We would really appreciate it. I also want to say that we're going to be having a applicant support session, information session in June as well. So I encourage you to sign up for that. And I've been seeing some movement in the chat, so let's see what's going on here. A great question from Linda. Does a community have to be both rural and low income to be in the first round? Um, no, the community only needs to fall into one of the priority categories. So you can either be rural or disadvantaged, or you can also fall into a non priority community, and there's funding reserved for that as well. Um, a question from George. Are the entries awarded on a first come, first served basis? Yes, they are. So we encourage you to get all your materials ready. So when the application date is launched, then you're able to just apply right away and be one of the first folks in. If you have any questions or need any support with your materials, please contact Fourth. That's what we're here for is to help you. A few more questions. Alex, is there a trade ally list? I'm not sure what that question is. We can follow up with you afterwards, unless
Right.
Jenna.
Yeah. That sounds like language that's consistent with ETO. And I think that is a really great question. I would like to look into that and do some research, and maybe we can see if we can do something to try to help applicants get some really good EV charging installers through the Trade Ally list. I'll see if they have any resources at ETO for us.
Great, thank you. A few more questions. Will the applications be submitted electronically? Yes, the application will be online. I see another one. Going back to service providers, if service providers incur the cost, um, can they apply for the rebate?
Yes. If the service provider is the one incurring the project costs, they can apply for the rebate.
Okay. Thank you, Jenna. I don't think I was
Yeah.
understanding that question.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
Great questions, everyone. Keep them coming. This is a great discussion. As I was saying earlier, I encourage you to register and attend for our June 7th information session where we will be going through more technical application support. It's a longer session as well. So we're really excited. We're here to help folks through the application process. So I encourage you to check that out, as well as all of the resources that are now available on the CCR webpage. Right. Any other questions?
Looks
If
like Mike had a question. Will the application be submitted electronically? Yes. Yes, the application
oh,
will be submitted electronically.
perfect, thank you. And I see we got 2 more at the same time that popped in. Um, how detailed our cost estimates need to be? So you would need to have um, a installer that you're planning to use come out and provide a detailed quote with all of the information, including the cost of the chargers and the labor. Um, All of that you can find also in the program guidelines, so I encourage you to look through that.
We do request 2 quotes from each applicant or estimated engineering cost.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenna, for that addition. What a great and engaged group. Thank you, everyone. I'm just looking through the chat to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Okay, a question from Anthony. Can charging companies get added to the approved list? Um, yes, I will follow up with you and give you the process for how you can do that. Thank you to Jenna for looking into it. We have a process for how you would need to reach out. The short answer is to PG or Pack Power to get added. And I'll send you, Anthony, information on that after the information session. Okay, Brandy, is there a list of licensed installers that have installed EV stations in Oregon? I need help with getting a quote for total costs. There are, and I will follow up, and the fourth team will follow up with you and provide you a list and help you get started. Question from Roger. Wow, so many questions. Thank you, everyone. This is great. Roger is asking, will the billing hardware/software be eligible for rebates also? And the answer is yes.
Here's a
You
list of our eligible project costs too, if you want to view that.
Yeah, and this is just some of the eligible costs. Again, the program guidelines have a really great comprehensive overview. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to look into that. Okay, a question from Mike. Ooh, I'm getting out of breath here. All right, Mike, can a third party own the charging on someone else's property? You would need to submit a site verification form if that is the case. And that is also available on the website. I can actually drop the link for you right now. There you go. That's in the chat. George is asking, can we supply equipment for the installer? I think I would like a little more information on what you mean and what kind of equipment you would be supplying. So we can talk offline a little bit about this case, unless there's something you'd like to add, Jenna.
No, I think that's great. I would like to know more of the project specifics over email.
Okay. Frank is also asking, is Coos Curry Electric part of this program? Um, I I'm not sure what you mean by part of this program. Do you mean are they eligible or so we can follow up and get a little more information, Frank, and talk offline. Okay. Okay, and Deborah would like a list of installers as well. Thank you, Deborah. We'll follow up with you. We are billing hardware software. We are billing hardware software partners. Is there a portal where the service providers be listed? Um, Fourth and ODOT do not have a portal where this would be listed. Um, I think that would I would refer you to the PG or Pack Power. I can follow up with you afterwards to see if we can get you more support. Okay, George, does a condominium property management company make the application for the HOA? Oh, that's a great question. I think I would want to look into this a little more and to give you a fully comprehensive response. So we will follow up with you, George, to get you an answer. Mike is asking, how can a contractor get the list of installers? We can follow up with you, Mike, but we for this program are using PGE and Pack Power lists, so you would need to reach out to them.
The PGE and Pack Power list is for the list of qualified chargers. I don't believe we have a current list of installers unless Fourth has pulled one together, but we can work on making a qualified list of installers or even discuss it as an idea.
Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah,
I keep
no problem.
having PG&E and or PGE and Pack Power on my brain right now for the lists. Um, Okay, another question. How do we contact interested community partners? I think is what this question is asking. Fourth is doing a lot of outreach to connect with community partners in different organizations and businesses to promote the rebate and get them technical assistance to apply. Um, I, I Let's follow up offline and talk how we can work together or get you in touch with community partners. Okay. And Anthony has a question. We are a CPO and installer and would like to be listed as potential installer and manager for companies. So can you include me in that information about being listed? Yes, Anthony, we can follow up with you. Again, for installers, you would need to, I'm getting all tongue-tied, sorry. We will follow up with you afterwards, and we will get you the information you're asking, Anthony. Great questions. Do we have any more that are coming up for folks? And I'll give you a few more minutes to type them up. If you have any questions that you're not able to ask today, feel free to send us an email, and we are available to meet separately or communicate through email or a phone call to get you the answers that you need to pursue the rebate. Hey, if you enjoyed the session or if you think there's room for improvement, please take our survey that we will put and redirect you to after we end the session. That will be really helpful. If you have any colleagues, partners, or anyone else that you think might be interested, we have more sessions coming up in May. We're hosting them every 2 weeks, and you can register online. And we have our June 7th session as well for applicant support. Feel free to reach out to us, read through the program guidelines. Like I said, they're fantastic. I'm just checking the chat one last time. I'm not seeing any further questions. George, we will follow up with you. Thank you. The contact emails are listed. We also have all of your emails from registration, so we will be able to follow up with you as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for being such an engaged group and asking fantastic questions. Thank you to Jenna for being here and providing such fantastic information and answering the questions. We'll also have a recorded session, so if your partners or colleagues cannot attend, you can also refer them to the recorded session as well. Okay, looks like there's no more questions, so I want to thank you all again for being here. We will follow up with everybody that has indicated they would like to be followed up with, and really appreciate your time. I'm going to put in the survey link now. So thanks,
Okay.
everyone, and
Thank
we'll
you,
see
everyone.
you soon. Thank you, Jenna. Bye, all.